Happy New Year, everyone! Did you have fun? Did you get everything out of your system? Me too, for the most part. I mean, yesterday was New Year, and because I don't have any real friends, I just went into a stream and we just had a New Year's stream with several people, and I'm a little bit sick, and of course, so we gotta work through that on New Year's Day, and of course we've got the this video, the last video of 2018. I know it's now 2019, but we've got one last thing to do, which, as you can tell by the title, is the awards, the top 5 and bottom 5. Who takes home the gold and who gets to burn in video game hell forever. I mean, by the time you see it, because obviously we've got to go through 10 different people, and then I've got to get all the footage, so you're probably going to be seeing it on the 3rd, maybe the 4th, the 2nd if you're lucky, but probably the 3rd or the 4th, but here you go. Now, for anybody new here, it is actually kind of a top 6 and bottom 6, as I do give up a runner-up, basically the one that barely missed out on getting any kind of prize. So, yeah, without further ado, let's dive in to the top 5 and bottom 5 games of 2018. But before we begin, we actually have a brand new award to give away for 2018. One that really does show that all these live services are just a spiral that are doomed to fail in the end. And that is the first ever Dead Game Award. A award given to a game that's dead, that you can't play anymore. It has been rendered useless. It had your money, and well, fuck you. It's dead. You can't do it. And that award goes to Boss Key Studios and Radical Heights. Do you remember that? Do you remember Cliff Bleszinski's Battle Royale? Because everybody wants it to be a Battle Royale. Cliffy B also tried to do the trend chasing thing, and after trying to trend chase Overwatch with Lawbreakers, well, he ran out of money, and now the servers are switched off, and there goes Radical Heights. It's now dead and rendered unplayable, so even if you have the game on your desktop, no can do, dude. The servers are now shut down, so that's the dead game. So here is your tombstone trophy thing, I guess, and we'll now, with live services in complete and full effect as of 2018, I guess we might be doing more Dead Game Awards by the end of 2019. So yeah, that's Radical Heights, and that's our Dead Game Awards. So we're going to do we start with the worst game, that way it ends with the best game. But yeah, we are now going to do the worst runner-up.
Let me see your troll face. Sir, you got a troll face? Ah! That's a troll face. Now let me see your troll face. Bullshit, you didn't convince me. Let me see your real troll face. Ah! You don't troll me. Work on it.
God damn, Activision. You are so lucky that you were just painfully average this year, and that all of your dumb shit just come that little bit too late. Like, oh, Happy New Year! And you know what? For New Year, you can buy a reticle, a standard-ass reticle for $1. But because it's New Year, and I like you a lot, you can have it for 50 cents. And you wonder why no one likes you, Activision. But still, the shooting was pretty much the same, fairly average. the kill streaks have been nerfed to be fairly average, and everything else about it was fairly average. And, you know, it's clear that it was not what the Call of Duty fan base that is now quickly dwindling wanted. It's even more average than last year's World War II. So, yeah, that's really about it. You got the runner-up spot because luckily you were just painfully average, and everybody else on the list above you did a whole lot more terrible stuff. However, it does stem to say that considering people are a lot more turned off by this one than they were with World War II, as this one is even more average than World War II, I am quite interested to see what 2019's Call of Duty brings, and to see if it is the end of Call of Duty, as this one didn't sell as well. So if this one didn't sell as well, it's safe to assume that the next one also won't sell as well. But moving on to the good runner-up.
Well, shit. What have we got here? A fucking comedian. Private Pikachu. I admire your meat. Hell, I like Pikachu. You can come over to my house and fuck all my shit.
The stopgap for the Pokemon series while we wait for Generation 8 on the Switch, which may be set to come out this year, but I'm not too sure. It has some really nice points, like the lineless mod now officially being added as the Switch can handle it, and the way that you catch shinies now via the catch combo thing rather than the 1 in 2,500 bollocks. So there are a lot of interesting innovations, like the two I just mentioned, and the egg breeding, which has now been removed for a more streamlined approach to the EVs and IVs system. But it was really only there to draw in Pokemon Go players, and it ends up being way too easy, as your starter is a perfect 6 IV that can pretty much one-shot any opponent it comes up against in terms of trainers, with, as I showed with Misty here, all of the trainers having severely decreased levels to make sure that death is near impossible. So in extension of it being way too easy, it becomes very, very boring and not really worth it. Only worth it if you really, really want to see a HD version of Kanto and don't mind absolute zero difficulty. And let's face it, it was also never going to get into the top spot because you can't evolve your starter into the best evolution as proven in science by scientists that do actual science.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg, and my arm, even my fingers. The body I've lost. The comrades I've lost won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you? I'm gonna make him give back our past.
You know what's the best thing to do to piss off everyone that ever cared about your series? Fire the beloved creator of your most popular series that only got that title because of the creative talent and writing skill of said creator, taking everything he built up, the fame, the goodwill, the series legacy, and throw it all in the bin by recycling it into a half-baked survival crafting game where the survival meters are at their worst, like to the point where you just can't play the game, and make the enemies generic zombies with giant glowing unicorn horns on their head. If it was not bad enough that the pachinko machines already turned everybody into negative mode, then Metal Gear Survive doubles down and makes sure that any chance the Metal Gear series had of retaining any kind of legacy or good track record is burnt to the ground. To play on your own is now what torture agents use to get information out of their enemies, strapped to a chair alone as you're forced to hear, "You are hungry, you are thirsty, please be aware of your food intake, please be aware of your liquid intake, please be aware of your oxygen intake," over and over and over again every 5 minutes, while going through the same repetitive gameplay over and over and over of defend the thing, with only one way to defend the thing, being that it still has the Metal Gear Solid 5 ammo scarcity, you know, because Metal Gear 5 was built around that mechanic. Bullets are either very hard to craft or very rare to come by, so the only true way of putting up any kind of defense to defend the thing is put a fence up and stab, stab, stab away till the end of time. If you don't, you will fail. The only cloying grasp it has is one single 20-minute let's look at with a full team, as it lets you all suffer together, and at least for those 20 minutes you get to watch all of the silly stuff, like the zombie corns ragdolling out of the portals. Oh my god, look at them ragdolling out that portal. This is... oh my god. Them just ragdolling out that portal. That's the fucking explosion. Oh my god. I will play another round of this just to get footage of them ragdollizing out of these sky portals. Oh my god! The funny way they run because their meshing is all fucked up. Look at him run! Oh my god, look at him run! Things that bother you never bother me. I feel happy and fine. Living in the sunlight, loving in the moonlight, having a wonderful time. And just the fact that maybe if they get too close you can win in a fist fight. You can literally just punch a zombie to death because their AI is so brain dead retarded. AI at its fine. It looks actually a lot funnier in... It looks a lot funnier in third person. So for about 20 minutes, it's okay. But then about after 20 minutes, after that first impression, well, that's it. You're done. Also, if you want to start a new character or have multiple saves, then, you know, that's only if you're a masochist. Why would you do that? And you just want death's sweet embrace all the quicker, that's an extra $10, please. No. You didn't hear that wrong. You heard that right. If you want to have multiple save files, you know, in case anything goes wrong, that is an extra $10. You greedy bastards. So thank you for destroying the legacy of a prolific series, shit-canning its creator and shitting on the creator and everything he's ever done, and of course trying to turn it into nothing more than a fee-to-pay live service with the $10 save files and the loot box thing.
Come now, little one, open up your eyes. Open up your eyes.
So say it with me. Fuck Konami. I mean, maybe. I'll definitely take that red outfit. That looks real nice. But, you know, it's humans, not my cup of tea. I mean, well, not full humans. I would rather go for full animals, like another dragon, or a pony, or a burb. But if you want humans, I'll at least go the half-breeds, like a Fornu Dork or the Bunny Girl. What? It's not a fapping simulator? But it's like them visual novels. It's got the girls with the camera focused on the tits. It's not. It's an RPG. There's a real story? Really? Are you sure? I mean, that shot of the tits. It's a kid's game. Oh shit. Okay, joking aside at some of the characters, Xenoblade 2 came out at the end of 2017, but it barely missed out on the Game Awards last year. But not this year, my friends, especially as it also had the DLC of Torna, the Golden Country. But yeah, Xenoblade 2 is a fantastic example of a JRPG done right, and great value for money, as the main story alone will take you around 40 hours to beat, not adding all of the extra stuff to do in the world, like the super bosses, as well as the 100% stuff, and now the DLC. You could easily get 100 hours plus out of it. And extra praise has to be given to Nintendo and Monolith for having some self-restraint and not turning them core crystals that are basically a roulette minigame. I mean, look at them. You get a crystal, you can try and put like extra little buffs on it to get the one you want, and then you spin the roulette wheel. Maybe it'll be that rare blade you're looking for, or maybe it'll be Common Warframe Girl. But don't worry, you got Common Warframe Girl. I mean, she looks pretty nice, but you want the rare one, don't you? You want one more spin, don't you? Well, here's a bunch of core crystals for $9.99. Or if you're feeling real unlucky, here's a big box of core crystals for $50. Holy shit, they look so much like a goddamn roulette wheel. They were so ripe for fucking Overwatch loot boxes. So big credit has to be given first to Nintendo and Monolith for having some fucking self-restraint and not turning the core crystal roulette minigame into actual core crystal pay us money roulette minigame. So yeah, that's great. That is really good on that aspect. And, you know, now that the bitterness is over, thank God, we can move on to the other things, where, good on you Nintendo. In terms of the rest of the game, everything else is extremely well crafted. The combat is very fun and almost like Earthbound. Like, for example, if you are so many levels higher than the enemy, let's just say about 20, I don't know the specifics, but like Earthbound, if you are 20 levels higher than the enemy, and the enemy sees you, the AI is smart enough to know that it is weaker, and it's like, oh fuck that shit, I am out. And if you are that strong and choose to chase after it and engage, it will just go down in one swing. Like, no victory screen, no, like, starting combat animation. It's just like, swing, dead, which is exactly like Earthbound, that has the best RPG mechanic, where earlier, higher level monsters will run at you, but later they will flee, and if they do get in your way, it's just like, you automatically win, here's your XP, here's your cookies, you did it, dude, because it's clear you were going to win, so why would we bother making you do the battle? Why would we bother showing you the battle when we clearly know how this is going to go? So, good on you in terms of the overworld combat for keeping the Earthbound battle system. In terms of the higher level battles though, they are so fun. You can have up to 3 sexy swords, each with different elements. And spending your special attacks in basically level 3 special attacks will cause a enemy to gain an elemental orb that floats round them. And this orb can be broken for a burst of damage at any time. But the more orbs you have, the more burst damage you will do. And it is so satisfying if you can get all 7 elemental orbs of water, wind, fire, earth, light, darkness and null floating around them and just chain off a 1 million damage hit.
That's a lot of damage!
Ooh! That felt good! And by making the combat so fun, sometimes you forget about the story, which in this game is a good thing, as when cutscenes pop up, they're either a nice treat or will make sure to raise questions that detract from the bigger picture. Like they bring up that Pyra is this mythical blade and how the Titans made blades and stuff that detracts from the main questions like, how is this Xenoblade 2? It looks nothing like Xenoblade 1. Where is, I'm really feeling it! Minardo Blade! No time for that. Pyra can turn into a blonde girl named Mithra. Oh well shit, let's learn about that. And it works as you're so busy thinking on these questions of how this new world works that you think the world tree is actually what the legends say it is, so that when you finally get up to Elysium and learn the truth, you're like, oh shit, what? And then, quote unquote, God is like, yeah, the hints were all there. How could you not see it? What do you mean the hints were all there? Well, here's New Game Plus, Pay Attention this time, which is just basically the same game, but you get to start with all your blades at the levels they were, so it's incredibly fun to just one-shot some stupid level 5 with a level 100, so that's fun, but like, it makes New Game Plus a joy to play through, because you're actually listening to what quote-unquote God said, and you're paying attention, and then you see the clues he's talking about to tell you how it was Xenoblade all along, and you're like, oh yeah, I see what you mean now. That's how a New Game Plus should be made, to make you want to play it a second time, to see everything you've missed. It reminds me of World of Final Fantasy, where you're so busy being like, oh my god, Cloud and Lightning and Leon are all in the same game together, holy shit, that when you finally get to the tower and you get to the world at the top of the tower, you're like, what? What? And then again, quote unquote, God is like, dude, we said this at the very beginning, we said this in the intro. How are you this stupid? Eh? Look, here's New Game Plus, play it and pay attention. And then you play World of Final Fantasy and New Game Plus and you're like, oh yeah, now it makes sense. So that's how a New Game Plus should be done, and Xenoblade 2 got it right. So there is a lot of hours and a lot of fun to be had with Xenoblade 2. So if you are into storytelling, big long JRPGs, then this one is definitely worth checking out. You know what's worse than just taking your beloved series, firing its creative director, and making a shitty survival game out of it? Doing all them things and making that shitty spin-off game a fee-to-pay mobile game made by the worst video game company, Unichronic Arts, headed by Android Wilson. Command & Conquer Rivals is the culmination of 2018's worst parts and business practices.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
Well, people do, but there is a reason why the series got popular on PC and why PC players showed up to your PC convention. Is kind of in the description of PC, which by the way gives a better experience than a mobile phone. But like Dungeon Keeper Mobile, Command & Conquer, an IP long since dead, has been bitten by the animatronic Nosferatu to rise from the grave as a zombified corpse, stuffed with microtransactions to get any last money out of the IP itself, as its life force slowly gets drained away by Unichronic Arts, until the point where there is no life left in it to drain, and the corpse and the subsequent studio is shuttered and added to the ever-growing list of victims that studio serial killer EA has got under its belt. So commiserations to the Command & Conquer fans, your series is no more, and as for EA, well, we'll come back to them in a moment, but let's just say the chickens are coming home to roost, but they have to sharpen Death's scythe first, but more on them later. But who really died that day, Luigi? It was me. Oh, Mama. Yes, it's the Luigi's Mansion remake. A really good remake. I mean, for the most part, it's a shame it wasn't on the Switch, being that the third one's coming to the Switch, and there's no reason why it shouldn't have been on the Switch. Or at the very least, why don't you just port it to the Switch, because the 3DS is pretty much dead now, and it would be nice to just have all 3 games as a nice trilogy collection on the Switch. I mean, hopefully you do that when the third one comes out, but for now we'll just have to bear with and suffer with this 3DS one when it should have just been on the Switch. But for the most part, the Luigi's Mansion remake is good. About time when you're gonna remake Sunshine. When Sunshine HD coming, Reggie? When you're gonna make Sunshine HD, Reggie? It's a good game, Reggie. It's the best Mario game, Reggie. Where's Sunshine HD, Reggie? But back to Luigi's Mansion, it's been a long time coming, a lot of people have been clamouring for it, and it finally happened. And it is bloody good. It is really good for the most part. Like, all of the graphics and the music have been HDified as per Nintendo standards to look and sound as high quality as it should. And the gameplay for the most part is fine. But it really did need a C-stick. Like, when the boos are flying around in the original, you had to use the C-stick to aim at them, and there are some things that do require a C-stick, and not having a camera stick is just... it is... I mean, the vacuum cleaner kind of compensates by having a bit more of an auto-targeting system, and the actual suck is a little bit stronger to make sure they don't, like, fly around as much to compensate for no C-stick. But if that's the case, why not just put it on a console with a C-stick? But for the most part, it's good. They've added new things like the platinum portraits for the Hidden Mansion, in case you can suck all 150 HP rather than the standard 100, which is a nice addition. They've added extra challenges to do, like collecting a certain amount of gold in a run, or getting all the speedy spirits in the mansion at any one point. So that's nice, little extra challenges to keep the game fresh. A new ranking system. They finally fully implemented the S-rank mansion, which you can only get in the Hidden Mansion. And for the most part, the Hidden Mansion is now the proper PAL Hidden Mansion, which is a lot darker, has a lot more ghosts that do a lot more damage. I mean, it's just a shame that you're not on the vacuum cleaner for Boo Losses. It sucks! Like, the Boo Losses vacuum cleaner was kind of trash, but it would have been nice to have everybody experience it. But it's nice to see they finally brought the PAL version out for everyone. So, yeah, overall, it is a good remake for the most part, and well worthy of being in the top 5. I have played through it multiple times, which kind of shows how good the original Luigi's Mansion was as a whole. As some might see this as a downside, which it is kind of. You can't get all of the ranks of the mansions in one run. So even if you get an A rank, it won't give you B, C, D, E, or F. So you have to, like, get a certain number of gold for F, win the game, get your certain number of gold for E, win the game, and so on for D, C and B. So yeah, that might be a downgrade. You would think if you got this rank, you would get all the previous ranks. But in saying that, I am having no issue playing the game through multiple times, because again, the original Luigi's Mansion was just that enjoyable and that fun. So, good on you. Yet another beloved IP put through the AAA ringer, now poisoned and suffering from all the diseases and illnesses that come with the AAA gaming space nowadays. Premium currency, microtransactions, paid sponsorship, pay-to-win items, a season pass, a live service. DRM, Assassin's Greed has it all. And where do you think all that greed got it, You guessed it, a underperforming yearly sequel, falling lower than its predecessor. Now, why is this higher? Because while Ubisoft was a DRM maniac with Uplay and such, there was some, like Amaneta, that liked Ubisoft, and to many, Ubi was the last bastion that was not fully corrupted like EA or Activision Blizzard. But all this shit has destroyed any goodwill and any hope that any last Ubisoft fans had as they watched their beloved publisher fully join the dark side. Disappointing many Assassin's Creed fans and Ubisoft fans, only furthered by their latest showing of Far Cry New Dawn, a sequel to Far Cry 5 where a nuclear war has happened, the bombs have fell, and now you're going to explore a post-apocalyptic world in a survival game with full online multiplayer. Now Ubisoft, call me crazy, but that sounds familiar.
Familiar, why is this so familiar? Familiar, like something I used to know. Familiar, staring up at the ceiling. Familiar, I swear that I know this feeling.
The power of fluffy boys, cute fluffy boys, that made everyone's year just that little bit better. A latecomer landing in at the end of November, and after all the shit we got at the tail end of this year, like Black Ops 4 and 76 and so on, it was so refreshing to just play a game and not have any bullshit surrounding it. And hot damn has Toby Fox still got it. 3 years on from the original Undertale, and it's like we never left. It looks just as good as ever, and his comedic writing and music are still on point, with the craziest part about it being it's nothing more than a demo. A 5-hour free demo, with him saying that it was so much of a process to make it that if you want a full game put together, then he's gonna have to get a team together, unless you want to wait another 7 years for Chapter 2. And just Chapter 2. Get this man a team! Get this man a team! We need Chapter 2 through like 10 now. We need Chapter 2 through 10 of the Fluffy Boy saga. Get this man a team! So, yeah, if you've never got into the Undertale games and you were looking for a demo to see if you like the series or not, well, here it is. 5 hours worth of demoing. I dare say it's even better than Undertale, as being he's had 3 years, there are some things he has refined to an even better point than its predecessor, like his comedic timing and writing style in general, the combat in both the battle with the TP system and the overworld where you can see the heart opposed to where you are running from Undyne here and you can't see the heart. One of the nicer moments of the later half of 2018, the power of Fluffy Boys now shines bright across the internet and has got people excited for the full game, if and when he eventually makes it.
Play space, am I right? A play space that we believe is the future's future.
Shut your mouth, you miserable piece of human garbage! Shit! Let's get this nonsense started. I read on the internet this one time that some of you had some proper shit to say.
A double award of shit. Being our first place has one extra thing. I could not pick one or the other. So here we are with the twin kings of shit mountain, EA and Take-Two, with FIFA 19 and NBA 2K19, both displaying a piss poor performance. Both, like all so far on this list, do have the normal equivalent of liquid detritus, you know, once again failing lower than the previous year, aggressive monetization practices and the like, but both of them take it way beyond anything that any sane or even insane person would do. Like, we go from shitty bad company to over-the-top villain you would find in a Saturday morning cartoon. For EA, with FIFA 19, their Ultimate Team packs are basically loot boxes that are now banned across most of Europe, being that they are gambling. And being that most of the games, like Overwatch, were aged at age 12 and above, well, that's gambling aimed at children. But EA, oh EA, they could not say no to turning kids into underage gamblers, or at least giving kids gambling addictions like a Captain Planet villain, and are currently going to court with the entirety of the European Union and England to fight for the right to keep gambling in their games, and even more so, keep gambling in their games designed for those under the legal gambling age. Nice one, EA. And you wonder why your stocks have dropped lower than any other AAA company so far. Then, on Take-Two's side of things, they have been giving the Grinch a run for his money, as on Christmas Eve, a code went up for a pink diamond LeBron James. A point to note is that pink diamond is the second highest rarity, only topped by galactic, and only found either by hours upon hours of grinding packs or coughing up the green to buy packs. Something else is that there is also a extremely rare add-on, if you will, which come in the forms of contracts and sneakers, and these permanently boost the stats of the player that you have gained, basically. So, people excited at Christmas, you know, because it was Christmas Eve, the 24th, are just happy that they've been given a gift. And so they download the code, they put the code in, and they get their gift of their pink diamond LeBron James. What a great Christmas gift! And of course, being that it is the second best rarity, people begin to sell their old, less rare LeBron Jameses and start to use their consumables that are very hard to get, like the sneakers and the contracts, to buff their new pink diamond LeBron James. However, it was later found out that the pink diamond was a bug, and it was only supposed to give a gold LeBron James. Now, in most games sometimes have a bug like this, and naturally it's quickly fixed. But if you got there, then good for you. A good example of this is the last season of Fortnite. Say what you want about the game, but last season there was a weekly challenge that came in 2 stages. It was a special Halloween challenge, so the stars that level up the battle pass were a little bit higher than normal. Part 1 giving you 15 stars and Part 2 giving you 20 stars. So in total this would give you 3.5 tiers on the battle pass. But however, something fucked up. Nobody knows what happened, but then someone put an extra 0 by mistake, turning that 15 and 20 into 150 and 200, giving, rather than 3.5, 35 tiers up on the battle pass. Epic Games addressed it and said that yes, it was a bug, but if you were around at the time and you got that bug, then enjoy all the shit you got. It was our fuck up, we made the mistake, and we're not going to punish you for our mistake. Take-Two, on the other hand, did the exact opposite, and all the Who's down in Whoville awoke to find that the Grinch of Take-Two had not been kind. From their account was gone their pink LeBron James and any upgrades he had gained, saying it was a bug and you were never meant to have it, even though it was their fuck up. And when asked about getting their stuff back, at the very least, like their trainers and contracts, well, the Grinch did not like that. A few were compensated, but for most just baited. There would be no compensation or reimbursement for you, childish, foolish little Who. Gone with the codes, with the cards, with the contracts, and so all the Who's decided to act, but not with a song or a cheer that could show that mean old Grinch that there was nothing wrong, but with fire and fury, taking to the message boards in a hurry, conveying their dismay to Young Yer and Sterling. Being newscasters, they would certainly have something to say. The message was out and had been spread across town that Take-Two, or the Grinch, now sat there with a frown, as they had no choices but to watch as their stock prices went down. A Red Dead scheme is what we need. Yes, yes, that will get them back on our side indeed. Alas, it was too late. The message had been sent. From the consumer to you, Take-Two. Get bent. Our runner-up for Game of the Year, and it's a darling little indie game called Bomb Chicken. A short but incredibly entertaining indie game where you play as a big fat chicken that lays bombs and must ascend through 30 floors of a factory / temple / eating establishment in a side-scrolling puzzle platformer, which in terms of mechanics can be akin to Bomberman, being that you can't jump and you have to lay bombs in a stack and have the stack high enough so that your drop distance clears the gap. But everything about the game was great. The 16-bit graphics work well for the game they created and make all the animations, like the fat chicken just waddling around, look so adorable. The music is a blast. And while the main part of the game is to escape, there is 2 endings. One purely for escaping, and the other if you find every gem in a level and deliver them to the chicken god and get all of the hearts crystals or crystal hearts before escaping. And as I said in the review, as a dragon that has dressed up in pictures as a chicken for Halloween and for another bird's birthday, come on, did you honestly not think I was going to play this game? Especially because the chicken is also, like in my own games, collecting a very specific amount of gems within a level. It was like it was built for me. So yeah, that was a great one. And right now it is only on the Switch, unfortunately, but for £12, $15, it is a well worth the price of admission kind of game. So, that's that. But before we begin, before we tell you what the worst game of the year is, it's time for the runners-up. So, these are all the bad games, just listed off, and by this assumption, you'll be able to potentially figure out which one's the top one, and just any little notes of worth if need be. So, the runners-up for the worst game of the year, or just bad games in general, because these aren't actually like the worst, because they're here. If they were the worst, they'd be in the top 5, but they're not. So these are like 6 and downwards, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. The runners-up for the bad games are We Happy Few, just a bit buggy on launch. Far Cry 5, it was pay to win with microtransactions, $60 with microtransactions. Nintendo Labo, Jesus Christ, you're charging $80 for cardboard. Battlefield 5, well, I mean, you've already seen EA's share price picture, you know all of the controversy surrounding that. FNAF 7, oh good, another one, I'm sure everybody will enjoy that. Nintendo Switch Online, $20 for an incredibly laggy service that sometimes freezes and does not have dedicated servers or any of the minimum standards. And Clicker Heroes 2, which has to have a special mention because they never changed a fucking thing. When they were saying, oh, it's just a beta, and I was like, right, well that's fine. Here's a list of things that you need to fix by the end of the year and prove that you're not just scumbags trying to get $30 for a clicker game. They didn't fix any of those issues, and their big announcement is, we're currently beta testing the wizard character. I don't care about the wizard character. I care about everything else. The things that are broken, which you never fix. So yes, it is $30 for a clicker game, and it is a scam, so don't buy it. The absolute worst 2018 has to offer, mixing everything together into an unplayable mess. Not only taking from EA or Activision Blizzard's book by being deceitful, shady little bastards, or better yet, the new Sean Murray, the ghost of online, Pete Hines, by making DLC into a full price game so that he didn't have to give a few copies away for free to those who had the season pass. Oh, they're not paid mods, they're mini DLCs. So if it's a DLC, then people that have the season pass get it for free. Oh, well, they're not DLC, they're something entirely different. Yeah, sure, Pete. Sure fucking Pete. And Wildcard Studios decided to play the same thing. On top of this, the game, and I use that term in the lightest of senses, is a unfinished mess that literally is unplayable. Not like the internet literally, but the true definition of literally, like literally unplayable, with programming incompetency I've not seen since I last checked the Steam Greenlight page. Like, did you just get Digital Homicide to program this shit? Some said, at the time, Metal Gear Survive was a mess. It was shit, and you could just see everybody ragdolling left and right. Oh my god, look at them ragdolling out that portal. Some said, at the time, Fallout 76 was a bug-riddled nightmare with shit like this. Record.
No.
Record. We are recording. There's two.
Bad metaphor.
There's
No.
two of them.
Live.
No, there's two of them. What the fuck? Oh no. Oh.
You know what? I think this is better.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. This is getting uploaded to it's getting worse. Oh dear god, it's getting worse.
What is happening?
For this portal.
It's getting worse.
Tomorrow I'm getting my base cockpit and moving to my new spot. And we'll probably stay here.
The Matrix has completely destabilized.
Oh no, they will fix it in like 2 hours because you already did that, Spyro.
No, but like you don't understand. The Matrix has 100% destabilized. This is going on Twitter and they're all doing it. All of them are doing it. Every single one of them is destabilized. Oh no. Every single one has destabilized. Everyone has destabilized. We will attempt to put them we will attempt to save them from themselves.
Silly but successful.
Don't worry, I will save you. These
You're
are
still
not...
recording?
Yes. Oh, it's just the one. No, there's two. There's two destabilized. I have saved him. I think. It's hard to tell. Where is he? I have saved him. I'm sorry, I can't let any of you live. If I let any of you live, then you may succumb to the destabilization virus. I think we freed them all from destabilization. Is that all of them? That is all of them.
You killed them and I wanted to check them out.
That's going on Twitter right now. We need to stop the recording. Nah, they were weak sauce compared to this. Wildcard Studios saw them and was like, hold my buggy broken beer. First, the game looks putrid. Like, for starters, is it supposed to look this bad? I don't think it. This is the trailer. right, how come it doesn't look like that? Again, we know why, because it was planned to look like that, but you rushed it out the door just so that you could get extra money by making it its own game rather than a DLC. Second, it is so much of a lazy rush job that all the people had to do was scroll down past like the last menu option to an invisible option, and we could find the Ocean DLC in the Arc menu. Like, you didn't even remove the Arc menu, so you can't even say, no, it was never going to be a DLC, because you've been caught. You've been caught, Wildcard. The evidence is right there, in front of us. And that reveals the Arc devs, this screen was originally going to be in the game. Despite them saying it wasn't, it shows it was originally going to be in the game. And there was speculations by the community that there was going to be a Ocean DLC. And when this was brought to light, this menu was brought to light, all those that play Ark said that this is the Ocean DLC. It is nothing more than a DLC chopped off, so that the loyal Ark fans had to pay a second time rather than Wildcard giving them the game or the DLC for free because they had bought the season pass. You know, I'm not saying Ark's the best game, I've never played the main Ark game, but for the loyal Ark fans that paid for that season pass, they were hoping to get this for free, and Wildcard has proven their incompetency and scumminess by saying no, you can't have it, and then just throwing out the beta, like every fucking beta this year, like 76, like Battlefield 5. In Todd's words, it's a starting point. We'll work on it later, we'll finish it later, it's just a fucking starting point. And our starting point is, first of all, being like laggy and playing like this.
Let me show you what I mean again. I pointed this out earlier, but let me show you what I mean. I'm going to press E to harvest. I'm going to press it right near the mic so you can hear when I press it.
Being buggy and spawning in the ocean like this.
Oh my, so now we're gonna be on different islands again.
I'm in the ocean again. Bro!
Yeah. I'm swimming back. Maybe I can find your dead ass body and we'll be chilling.
How can your game be this bad? How? Why is there a level 2 snake, a level 3 fucking bird, a level 14 like a fucking horse, and then a level 150 wolf? Come on, dude. And then why am I spawning in the fucking ocean, dude? How are you guys able to come out with a game this fucking early access is mind-blowing. How dumbasses like me fucking buy it is mind-blowing.
And having no cheat protection whatsoever, meaning that China, and that's not being racist as you're about to see, China found some sort of duplication cheat or bug, so they duplicated 1,000 fucking ghost ships and claimed every single piece of land in the game, so no one can, like, even play the fucking game like this.
Right now.
No, I don't want to. Alright, fine.
It's nothing. It's literally nothing but banned China posts.
Most of the servers have been taken over to kill non-Chinese on site. This has spurred all the Western nations to band together in a great barbarian army to fight the Chinese. In essence, the race war has started on Play Atlas.
Look at all the threads, though. Just scroll down. It's all like China.
We have begun to strike back. This guy hung, I guess, a Chinese player. This is terrible.
Seems like their only intention is to ruin the game for anyone that isn't Chinese. That's like their whole plan.
Where the great battle of Atlas PvP
aspect
servers.
on this game?
US and EU gamers versus Chinese gamers.
leaving the game in an absolute mess, with no sign of the developers having any plans to fix any of it. So here it is on Steam, mostly negative, another early access, another it's just the starting point, another beta break it early test application, another one to sit there clogging up Steam, mostly unfinished, just unplayable garbage, rather than making a game, actually genuinely sitting down, making the game, polishing it to a finished standard and then releasing the finished game. No, another starting point to just clog up Steam. Another one. And this is why but we don't need quality control. This, if I was fucking Gabe Newell and I was running Steam, this shit would have been deleted. It is a faulty product. It doesn't work. It's defective. It is it is literally horrible to look at and painful to play with how bad the lag is. I would say you are taking that shit off of my storefront and you are not putting it back up till you actually finish your product and not to release this defective mess. But Steam and all of the other places like the eShop don't need quality control. It's fine, it's a starting point. And that's it for another year. Another batch of shitty games. They're not even games anymore because a lot of them just want to be live services. Another bunch of live services and betas and starting points thrown up with no intention of finishing them at all. Just here they are and enjoy your unfinished mess. We'll come back to this in a moment. Let's finish off the good games. So these are the good, other good games, other runners-up, whatever you'd like to call them, that were somewhat good, some of them absolutely amazing, but just didn't quite make it onto the list. Some of them I was like, at the time they were number one and they just got knocked down bit by bit, and some of them were just like, ooh, that could have been there. Like the first one, and we're just about to list them all off now, but the first one, Smash Brothers, was originally number 6, and then it was just beaten out by Pokemon because I had a lot of issues with Smash Brothers, like some of the spirits being a bit too, like, no, this is way too unfair, and some of the other things, like the online, like the thing you would actually want to play with other people, just being total garbage. So because the online was connected to Smash Brothers, it in the end detrimented Smash Brothers and knocked it just off of the runner-up in favour of Let's Go Eevee. So yeah, it's still good, but it just barely, that was actually the original runner-up, that was number 6. But going through all of the other good games this year though, we have Faye, a really nice indie game, a little bit short, slightly repetitive, but still good overall. The Splatoon Octo expansion, a really fantastic Octo expansion, really fantastic level design, really creative. I like it more than the main campaign. Just that final boss lets it down so much. Runner 3, it was an okay sequel to Runner 2. I prefer Runner 2. Being exclusive to the Switch, they had to cut a lot of the visual effects, and it does make it slightly lesser overall. I would like to see a PC port with all the stuff. Mega Man 11, one of Photon's favourite games of the year. I'm not too much of a Mega Man fan, well, not standard Mega Man, I'm more like the strategy games like the Battle.net series, but overall still very good. Definitely a nice sequel to Mega Man 10. Soul Calibur 6, a really nice fighting game, that doesn't have any laggy online for the most part. The input delay is minimal, and you can meme it up. So yeah, that's great. But unless you have a big crowd like Vinny or Joel, then you're not going to see as many memes, and it might not be worth it. Mario Tennis Aces, again, a fantastic sports game. One of the only sports games I actually like and would have continued on with, but again, Nintendo Switch Online just drops it down to unplayable. Super Mario Party returns to the old formula, but Nintendo Switch Online means you can't play a full round of Mario Party, you can only play 5 minigames. Again, any multiplayer Nintendo game is just detrimented by Nintendo's piss poor online and sometimes stupid decisions by Nintendo. Like, why are you only letting people play 5 minigames rather than letting people play a full round of Mario Party online? I don't see why you did that, but still another fantastic game that I would have loved to have put higher if the online was stable and if you could actually play full games. Flippin' Death, another game from the creators of Faye. Very interesting puzzle platformer where you have to possess people and solve puzzles in a variety of ways. Some of the final puzzles get a bit bullshit, and it depends what the developer was thinking. There's not multiple ways to solve puzzles, but something, considering it's an indie game and rather cheap, that would be worth checking out. Squidlet, a £1 40-minute game. It's literally a single dollar, and it's just something silly and fun, a little bit like a demo, a little silly fun demo for $1 that is currently on Steam and worth checking out if you just want a laugh for an hour. Pokemon Quest, an interesting idea for the Switch and mobile. It's pay to win, fee to pay, like its predecessor of Magikarp Jump. Is not ridiculously in your face, and if you buy like the biggest pack, the $30 pack, you get like 4 golden cooking pots and like a load of Pokeball cash every single day, which means you would never have to spend cash again. So good job Nintendo on again having self-restraint, but at the end of the day it is still just a free mobile game, so not really worth putting any higher than just being pretty good. Sea of Thieves, while it started as an unplayable mess, I've heard it's got better, and when it was in its early access state, at the very least it looked very visually appealing, and the mechanics of like the shooting of the cannons, going around the sea with your crew, having to repair a sinking ship, it was all very engaging, and the time that me and my crew spent in Sea of Thieves was fun. We had a lot of fun. It's just a shame that the sea was empty and there was nothing to do, and I would have hoped for more. Microsoft, and being Rare, because Rare has still some morality, Rare is attempting to add content, but again the content should have just been there from the start. And lastly, Kirby Star Allies, that looks great, sounds great, is a absolutely charming game, but the fact that there's no difficulty slider just makes the main campaign so easy, and like Let's Go, that easiness can get to a point of pure boredom. And I would love to see everything from Star Allies go over into the new Kirby game, but just give me a difficulty option. And that's it. So now we move on to the grand finale, the best game of 2018. And so, the best game of the year is, well, me. Spyro, you biased twat. Yeah, Yeah, I am. But come on, if you really did not see that coming, then...
What's wrong with you?
But of course, the best game of the year was mine, the Reignited Trilogy. Like Crash, seeing my original 3 games remastered into HD was a joy to behold. And while there was some flaws, like all 3 Beat games not being on the disc, because it's Activision, and Activision are the worst and just can't make a game without fucking something up. Fucking Splatoon guns in Twilight Harbor! Why is that shit? But my wonderful fanbase and the Spyro community as a whole made sure to keep the sword close to Activision Blizzard's neck at all times to make sure the damage was as minimal as possible, and the final result was a near perfect nostalgic trip. Mwah. The controls are extremely tight and responsive. It looks absolutely stunning. I mean, fucking look at the Dark Hollow with the shooting stars. Look at this shit. And the lighting, that looks goddamn gorgeous. And the music was great, as it was the original composer of Stuart Copeland that come back to remix his own old tracks. So it just all was there. All the stars were aligned. And unlike Todd, this time, for the most part, it did just work. I could go on for an hour about this, but I don't think you want to hear me prattle on that long. But between me and Crash, we have proven that sometimes it is good to go back to basics and go from there, and solidifies why I truly am the greatest dragon in gaming, your mascot, your idol, your childhood hero. Also, Crash is a cool guy, I guess, because even he's getting a remake of CTR, which is coming out this year, to keep the nostalgia train going. And there we go. All done. All neat and tidy and finished off. What were your favourites and your least favourites? Did some of them get onto either list? Let me know. But that is the end of 2018. 2018 has drawn to a close. Spyro 29. Shh! Takes a few days to make. You have to get over your New Year's Day hangover. It takes a few days to make. Shh. But that is the end of 2018. All wrapped up neat and tidy. And we look forward to this, the new year 2019. Where there's going to be a few structural changes to reviews, more so in terms of restrictions, because AAA companies like to fuck up and have been fucking up majorly across 2018 to the point where it's like, just saying $60 games with microtransactions, nah, that's not enough anymore. That's just not enough anymore, because companies have started to be like, yeah, okay, now we're going to put this in instead, or we're going to do this instead, or we're going to do that instead. And it's like, just, you know, I give you that one rule because it's like one simple rule to follow and you couldn't even follow it. So now I've got to do all this other shit, and it's like, fuck it, dude, fuck it. So that one still stands. If it's a $60 game with a microtransaction, it's worthless. It's garbage. Not even going to bother with it. Instant zero. But we're going to have to add 3 more now. If it's got a season pass on day 1, nah, not dealing with it. You've clearly cut content out of the main game to sell on your shitty season pass like Ubisoft did. Any game with a season pass, fuck it off. Not gonna deal with it. Zero. Day 1 DLC, you've clearly carved that off, so you're just getting an instant 0 for that, and I'm not going to deal with you. And any live service or battle pass game, I'm not dealing with that shit either. That's just, you're not worth my time. You're clearly just trying to jump on the trend of live services or Caesar or battle passes. I'm not fucking dealing with it. So you can piss them off as well. So if you want to actually have any chance of being on 2019's good list, you make a game, you release a game, and that's a game. Not like, oh, well, it's a start. Shut up, Todd! Don't give me that starting point excuse. Fucking starting point. If I hear the words starting point, live service, battle pass, season pass, any other bollocks, you're fucking done. You're done! You're gone. You're just disqualified. Get out of here. And then we'll go from there. So, yeah, those are the new rules. Because apparently every game is a live service now. Well, it's not. Because as we saw from Radical Heights, which has lived and died within under a year, that's where that live service got, didn't it? As we saw with The Culling 2, that was a live service, and look where that went. So no live service. Bad game industry. I'll squirt ball you. Bad game industry. So, thank you all for watching the awards ceremony. And if you enjoyed, do leave a like. And if you don't want to miss out on 2019, then do subscribe. It does help out the channel. And there are links down below to my Patreon if you'd like to support me further. My, what's it called? That thing that I talk to people on, Discord. If you want to come in and talk to me, and my Twitter if you want to see what I'm tweeting. But for now, thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you in 2019 with more stuff, just more gaming stuff, and other stuff. So, see you then. I don't know how to end.